very warm welcome to the National Gallery of Modern Art. We are delighted to organize the exhibition Brasilia under the auspices of Cultural Exchange Program between India and Brazil. May I request Sri Advait Gadnayak, Director General, National Gallery of Modern Art, to welcome our dignitaries, Chief Guest, Honorable Union Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs and Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, Sri Hardeep Singh Puri Sir, with flowers and Angavastram. His Excellency Ambassador of Brazil, and Joint Secretary, Ministry of Culture, Ms. Lily Fernandez. May I request our dignitaries to please join us for the lighting of the lamp ceremony. May I request His Excellency to please address the gathering.
Come.
Good evening to all. Thank you very much for coming, and most of all, Natural Minister Puri and Lakshmi for being here, and the Director of the National Gallery. I cannot thank you enough for being here, but we have a very special evening tonight because, as some of you know, Minister Puri was ambassador to Brazil and lived in this city. So I think it's a wonderful moment for me to be able to share these moments with him and to have this exhibition here. This is naturally a teamwork. So many people helped me, so many people recommended who should do the models, who should print the photographs. Everybody is a hero for me tonight. And I have to say that I'm extremely proud as a Brazilian that Brazil was able to build Brasilia in less than 4 years as it did, and that it became a city that has been adopted and beloved by the Brazilians. So I hope you will enjoy seeing all these symbolic buildings and the dimension, obviously, that is the people that live in it and the humans that built it, which was wonderful. So in the name of this wonderful year in which we have 75 years of India and 200 years of Brazilian independence, I would like to thank you all for being here, and obviously thank you especially for this very symbolic moment that you're here.
Thank you so much, sir. May I now request Honorable Minister, sir, to deliver the inaugural address.
Ambassador, boa noite. Before you catch me out, I should say, não fala português. Ambassador, Madame, Director General, my colleagues from the Ministry of Culture, friends, ladies and gentlemen, in the year of the Lord 2005 or 6, a far-sighted foreign minister, who shall remain nameless, decided to gift me one of the nicest and most memorable postings in my diplomatic career. And I went to Brazil in January of 2006. I was already enchanted by Brazil, but my enchantment with Brazil came from a different route. I had the privilege in a long career in the Foreign Service of having interacted with a large number of Brazilian friends in the multilateral level. But I had visited Brazil on a number of occasions. If I remember correctly, for Rio +20, I had visited Brazil for an UNCTAD conference which took place in Sao Paulo. But my experience of living in Brasilia, which I say without doubt and with a sense of responsibility, is one of the most beautiful capitals in the world. Why do I say that? I'm not saying that as a tribute to the work of Oscar Niemeyer or Lucio Costa. I'm saying it because Brasilia is a city which is newly built, and it has all the aesthetics of an experimentation. I know I can see some friends nodding. Some people may even doubt that. Some of my my ambassadorial colleagues used to argue with me, and they said, well, Brasilia is not as exciting as Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo. Possibly. But if you look at the architecture, the town planning, I mean, for those of you who have not visited, all I can say is, take the trouble of going there. The experimentation, there's a river which has been dammed on both sides to produce the lake. And that was one of my favorite places on an evening. I should be careful about what I say. What is it called? The what you make with the cachaça. Caipirinha. And you get them in all. You can have them with pineapple, you can have them with other flavors, even for those of you who don't want the cachaça. No, but let me tell you what I came away with. I was ambassador at a time when Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva was the president, and the new presidential office or residence was constructed, and we invited us, and when I got the telephone call, I asked my office to check. I said, does His Excellency the President know that I have not yet presented my credentials? I got a slightly rude answer from the other end. They said, we know who has presented credentials to the President, and are you coming? I said, of course I'm coming. And you know, when you went to the Itamaraty, which is their foreign office, and you saw a staircase which does not have any visible support, I would like you all to see it. I mean, there are such aesthetic pieces of construction. I mean, if you see these pictures, the fascination that these people had with semicircles and straight lines. And there are beautiful depictions here in this exhibition where you have the model on the table. I think it's here. Model on the table, and you have the picture in color at the back. It gives you an idea what it is. For those of you from other countries who've been lifelong friends, before you get me wrong, I'm not saying that Brasilia is the only most beautiful capital in the world. I said it's one of the most beautiful. Anybody like me who's lived in cities like New York, it's not the capital, so I can. Paris, okay. London, very nice. Tokyo, I started life there. Tokyo, very nice. But Brasilia, I think, has a quality about it. For those of you who are not familiar with it, do you know what an aircraft looks like when you are looking at it from below? It has the fuselage, it has the wings. And if you study that, I don't know what he had in mind, but you end up as an ambassador having a residence. I had one in which, this is before we built ours on the lake. which had a proper stadium and a football field attached. If I were in the mango retailing business, I could have perhaps marketed a seasoned stock there. No, it was, I don't know whether Indian mangoes or Latin mangoes or Brazilian mangoes, but all in all, I think Brasilia, and I'm so happy that you have this 60th 60 Brasilia at 60 plus exhibition. I want to compliment all those who have made it possible. Those who have not only curated it, but who made it possible. You know, sometimes you can get a very good curation done and then you know what happens at the end. But I'm truly impressed, and Ambassador, as with so many other things you do, you and I are working on biofuels, we are working on flexi-fuel engines, we are working on several other things. Heartiest congratulations, and thank you for inviting me. I mean, till 2-3 days ago, I thought that Lakshmi was invited, and I said, I'm going to come along as well. No, but all of you, please soak in the pictures. I know there's a saying that, what is a photograph is worth 1,000 words? No, 100 words? No. 1,000 words. Well, these photographs together, individually and collectively, give you a sense of the aesthetics. They give you a sense of the feel. It's a feel of grandeur. But I also must make a few complaints. I can't just say nice things only. Okay, can I? You know, I remember some of my colleagues, I had a lot of very good friends, they were telling me that they wanted some, the Parliament building was built. You see it here. And they felt that as by the way, Brazil has many great things. 1/6 our population and 3 times our land area and 22% of the freshwater reserves in the world. But they said the parliament was too small. So I said, what do you do about it? He said, we have a problem. We can't add anything. Why? He said, because Mr. Neymar lives in Rio de Janeiro and he has pride of authorship, so he won't let you make any alteration there. So I said, then wait a few years. You know, the best of us have to go. So anyway, there's a joke I said, I don't know. I don't know whether you'll ever make changes to your parliament building, but by the way, we are making our changes. I mean, even all my friends who are wedded to that 1916 model, I told them it was never built for a parliament in India. We have to make one for the next 200 years. They're slowly coming to terms. Somebody asked me, will you have an exhibition like this there? I said, we'll have an exhibition of all the parliaments in the world. So Ambassador, once again, heartiest congratulations to you and all your collaborators who made this possible. And I'm sure you're going to have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Thanks on this occasion. On behalf of the National Gallery of Modern Art, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the respected dignitaries, officials from the ministry who graced this program with their presence. I would like to express a sincere thanks to the officials and staff from the Embassy of Brazil in India for their unstinted support in organizing this exhibition. I also wish to thank the Ministry of Culture for supporting our ambitious endeavors of this museum. I extend my heartfelt thanks to His Excellency Ambassador of Brazil and Director General National Gallery of Modern Art for their guidance throughout this exhibition. We acknowledge the support of the entire NGMA team for the successful realization of this exhibition. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a gracious audience. May I now request the Director General NGMA and His Excellency to accompany our distinguished guests and also join us for high tea at the NGMA lawn. And the exhibition is now open for public viewing. Have a very good evening. Thank you.
Exactement, sans arrêt. Je suis ici parce que j'ai passé toute la semaine voilà, dans le sous-sol. Ouais, exactement. Alors, j'ai passé un peu ici.
C'est sympa de voir le résultat.
Voilà, c'est très maintenant pour un peu plus de mois.
Non, mais tout est du boulot. Mais on apprend beaucoup.
Now, in this, what do you do? Because nobody would do a modern building for a presidential palace. So, what do you need in a presidential palace? A grand entrance and a balcony. Because all presidential palaces have a balcony. He did this ramp that straight to the president's office. Everybody else has to enter. You see the car like that, and people have to enter under. But this is the exclusive entrance, and you see it's a very small. Then, how do you do the balcony? He built a little building which is a balcony, and that's where the president goes and waits to go. So it's a completely modern building with this very strong pillar, very special pillar, very lightweight, but it has the two essential elements, you see, of a representative of the building. Then these, little by little, embassies were obliged to go to Brasilia because everyone wants a large plot of land for all countries. So one of the first was Germany, Mexico did a very interesting thing, Italy, a spectacular thing, and this is the new Indian embassy, which is quite spectacular. And you see the office, the house of the ambassador, and the house of the... Yeah, they tried to blend, absolutely. So you see the city, this is the back of the city. And this bridge goes to the houses. These are the private houses. These are the private houses where this is great, no?
왜 돌아서 비치하자고 봤어?
Great.
야, 그냥 다
But in the so the site-specific works of art, like this tapestry, the gardens are by the same artist, furniture by Nehemiah, and these are here this way. And you have no ceiling, and the no ceiling opens, and people have to go up this amazing because it has no protection. It's very wide, right? According to rights and all. So you go to the mezzanine. Then from the mezzanine you go and look inside the house, the garden is inside the house. It's a really, really unique building. Very
Bravo, congratulations.
and Garden Angel also
Yes.
here.
Hello, lovely.
Do you know already the Ecuador? He just arrived. So he hasn't missed. Yeah, 100%. No, I haven't. So the last part I want to show. Cinema gloves, church, all of that. These buildings all have to have maximum 6 floors in the entire city. Maximum 6. And they have to be amenities. So under, if it rains, children can play under, and people can run from one to the other and have less rain. But since there is always the shop near, everybody has a shop near and go walking. There's a limit in Brazil, you need a car for everything but a structure. When so these, with the trees, it has become a very nice neighborhood in which the trees are taller than you because the walls can only have 6 floors. So in the beginning, you see, it's very stark and very The central bank, other official buildings, and this is a very curious thing of Brasilia, is that signage for people to understand how to circulate. So, and that are exclusively thought for the very strange plan of Brasilia. So it's very many categories. It was so successful that nobody wants to touch that anymore. So all of Brasilia has this very particular sign. You see, with some colors depending on the issue. And when you take the car, for instance, that's the demonstration of how you feel. You arrive, so you see Brasilia, so you turn to Brasilia. Then the next step, they explain where you have to go on the green. So the next step, you follow that line. So it all goes, and the size is according to the speed of the street. If you are on the main road and everybody is 60 kilometers an hour, it's bigger. And then it gets smaller as it gets closer to the buildings themselves, but with the same style. The gardens for here, all the churches are very big. And their offices are here. They think the building is getting moving down. So this is the sculpture. With their beds and circulate everywhere, even if this is a freedom. This is the children's playing room. So this is an unbelievable hospital. Now you see here the Congress building dominating. The other building. Now it's only one, but depending on the position you put, you have a different composition. He would ask the workers to do the composition they want. So, because he worked and also the works of the people. So, these are some of the examples on how these are his prints. On the workers, wherever they want, but it's the same. It's amazing. And from outside, so you can have the mass outside. So on the side, you have his azulejos. We brought some of his original tiles. And the interior was painted by a student of his, Galeno. And we also have a work by Galeno to show the work of the... He has made all this wall with natural light, furniture of Nehemiah. So it's a unique space. That's the favorite place of our director. And in the theater, it was outside that Nehemiah asked him to do a sculpture. So the facade of the building is in fact a sculpture. And it's another ramp when he went to the theater, but the colors were chosen by artists, because Nehemiah thought he had better taste for colors himself as an artist, which is wonderful, this mix between artists and architects.
I want to understand what is the interior mostly outside?
Concrete.
And the outside buildings are painted, not painted?
Yes, painted white. Nehemiah likes to paint white some parts of it, but you see, this exposed concrete and painted white. But it's essentially a concrete. But since concrete is very tough, it's also exposed. You saw in our ministries, the arches are very classical, but the structure is very sophisticated. So he left it in concrete. But in others, he would paint, you see, like this. This is concrete, but he painted white to be lighter. With this, he had extremely high inflation. Extremely high inflation is really extremely high inflation. I mean, we had 1,000%. It was great. The guy would call you and say, get the rights before I change the ticket, because it was during the day they were changing the this is my civilian attaché. So everything was either from Rio to do a concession or something. wonderful artist who did many things in Brazil.
So Danielle is head of a cultural. This is a fan core thing of the guitar orchestra of Gitanjali Mehta, DCWA, but also an architect expertise. I mean now, because no options.
कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है सब ज़रूरत नहीं
Where art meets architecture, architecture meets
मैं नीचे ऊपर से 10-15 क्लिक करके आ जाना अभी भी नहीं 4-5 क्लिक हो जाएंगे ना अब देखो
Yay! DCW. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's woman. It's woman. It's woman.
One I will take with my camera.
But you joined us.
Huh?